With such awesome power, you were bound to attract the greed of your brethren. Draven, Korvek, and Casita have banded together and plan to steal the artifact for themselves. Defeat them, and bend them to your will. For if they join your ranks, there will be no stopping your final assault upon the Empire capital.
Hello, old friend.
We've been waiting for you. Yes, you and the Kinos.
We'll have it over your dead body.
These fools come for...
Greetings and welcome, fellow underlords, to another episode of Let's Play War for the Overworld. Is what I would be saying if this was actually, part of the show. It is not. I have been thinking about maybe getting back into the game, but this is mostly just so I have something in the background. This is the end of the year wrap up, I suppose. A little bit of an announcement and all that. I mean, it's been apologies. It's been a semi-tradition to have something of a wrap-up, maybe a look forward. And to be honest, I wasn't really thinking ahead on this one, and I've kind of threw this together. The music in the background is basically some royalty-free music, because I needed to replace the sped-up sounds that I couldn't get rid of otherwise. I figure they probably give a bit of an atmospheric sound. The reason I am playing particular this level is because of an interesting discussion I've been having with a viewer who has been having trouble with the game. Now, I've tried to explain how I think I should beat the level, but obviously my knowledge was a little bit out of date. So I figure, why not just show how I would do it? This is not my most effective play, but considering I don't actually have to talk while I'm playing, while I was playing this, I am actually focusing a little bit more, although obviously still a bit rusty. Never mind. Never mind all of that. We'll get back to that later. For now, this is just a basic setup and introduction for the first half hour of the level. I basically don't do really anything specific. What I actually wanted to talk about is, of course, what is different, what has happened during 2019. Well, most of the 2019 was pretty much status quo for me. Nothing much changed, nothing much happened. Minor tragedy in the family, but that's not really important. Yeah. Luckily, your father can only die once. But we had become estranged, and really there's nothing more to be said on that topic. Although if my brother is watching, I am still really sorry about all things I may have said. Never mind that though. That's in the past. As most things are. What is new though? Well, gaming-wise, nothing much really has changed. This year really didn't give me any games that really inspired me, set my world on fire, although this summer really almost nearly did. 40 degrees. Oh. With my computer almost melting in my hands, that's... Well, it didn't melt in my hands, but I almost melted. Couldn't sleep for days. But on that front, we are actually in a bit of luck, because, while this is obviously not immediately apparent, I've actually built myself a new computer. Yay for me. So, let us all raise a glass and pour one out for my little old rig, my Vanguard, which I called it, which is still sitting next to me, because it's not dead by any means. My old computer is still alive. But its poor Intel 3770K chip and its GeForce 970 card simply just couldn't bear the load I was putting on it anymore. Aside from the fact that I was actually filling up the hard drives quite a storm, and well, it was making noises that I just couldn't bear anymore. I've already had to replace one of the case fans. And yeah, I mean, the beast has been with me since... Ooh, actually I don't remember anymore. It's almost 10 years now, at least. It has to be at least 10 years. It's a venerable machine that I love dearly, but will now be relegated to backup duty. And instead, let us welcome our new beast, the Centurion. With the, alright, let's get this right, the R7-3700 AMD chip, of course, the Ryzen chip. With the RTX 2070 Super graphics card, which is really most important information. I mean, it also has 32 gigs of 3600 gigahertz RAM, of DDR4 RAM. But yeah, that's just basically specifics that are not really important. What is more important is that I can record on this. In fact, I've already done so. The latest recordings of Dark Rain and my latest stint into the semi-grand campaign have already been recorded on Centurion. And it works brilliantly. It actually works better. Which I suspected, because I did sort of build the rig for more content producing rather than basically maximized gaming. Because, well, if I really wanted to go flat out, I probably should have gone with the latest Intel chips perhaps still, but I think I see more future in AMD at the moment. So there it is. A new year, a new computer to play with. And so far it has not let me down. But then again, it's only been active since Christmas, so yeah. It took me a while to put it together. Alright, so, and other than that, I don't really have anything particular of importance to mention. Like I said, this year has been mostly status quo for me. And we'll just look forward to 2020. And hopefully that'll make this decade not suck so much. For reasons that are totally of no consequence to any of you. Alright, so actually let's get back into what we're doing here in this particular episode. Because this is going to be a little bit of an AAR. Because we are now at the 30-minute mark, I think. The window is actually a little bit small. Can I enlarge that? I don't want to crop zoom that. That's not what I wanted. Well, never mind that. This is just basically my defense against the first guy, the teal guy, the Raven, I think. His initial assault was mediocre, to say the least. I mean, he did surprise me a little bit by burrowing into my workshop, but he didn't really push there, so I just gently shoved him out the door and got him away from me, which is essentially the first defense anyway. I summon a behemoth, which is, in my opinion, the weakest of the titans you can summon, really, but he is somewhat good at breaking through enemy defenses, since Raven does have some defenses near his heart. I figured it'd be useful to use the behemoth to burn those down. Little later I realized that the enemy had basically no troops left. Now, in my particular strategy for this particular level, I did try to make better use of the rituals. So in particular the Uprising ritual, which allows me to summon corpses from my graveyard, if I have any. But turns out I didn't really need them for this particular one, as I forgot to use the ritual, and now I am rich. At which point, Casita pretty much almost instantly becomes a threat, which I had to respond to. And now I already realized she was digging towards me, but she hadn't quite started with the Underminers just yet. Which is something that the enemies will try to do if they sense where your dungeon is. Alright, so here I'm just sacrificing a couple of captives to get some ghosts, because I'm not really interested in converts at this particular stage. Because I want to level up some of my people. Now I'm not entirely sure which way she's attacking, so that's why I'm spreading out a little bit. Selling off the Ember Rifts, so my Ember Demons are more focused in where they are, since they probably wouldn't survive the trek through the dungeon. Probably could have done with another Ember Rift in here, there's enough space, but I forgot. And also my money isn't quite infinite yet, that will happen once I beat Casita. Now Casita does make a very definite effort to break through me, she actually almost succeeds, but for some reason she doesn't push. And so I'm able to basically lightning zap all her guardians, which are actually quite, her sentinels rather, which are actually quite strong at this stage. But without support, I'm just able to zap them down, and I summon my Eternal, and we push on. So I rebuild my defenses to make sure that they will not push past me at this stage, because she will keep trying. And I still need some time to dig back into where she's coming. Drop down an outpost to make sure that I'm not going to lose this room. Turn the gargoyles the right way. And then it becomes a struggle against the incoming forces of Casita. She does have them rallied. Or is this just workers? Well, regardless. Alright, here comes her Colossus. Which is a bit of a threat. But once it breaks through my bombard, it comes free falter for my lightning. And I basically just kill it. At which point it is no longer a threat. To try to get things going with the assembly ritual, well, I'm not sure how necessary it is. Alright, sacrificing more people for more ghosts. Alright, so just strengthening more defenses here, nothing special. I decided not to kill that, instead make it my own. Alright, and here I start with the leveling up fire ghosts. I could have just used gold for this, because at this point I probably have more than enough, with both gold shrines being harvested. This is harvesting via the gold shrines does take longer though, so you have to keep that in mind. This is not an instant process. I think they tweaked that since I last played, because I seem to remember that you get gold much more quickly. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Alright, just keep sacrificing more minions for more ghosts. This is of course more effective if you sacrifice higher level people. I say sacrifice. Sacrifice is not quite the right word, because sacrificing is something you do in the ritual chamber. Alright, I tried to speed things up with some wisdom potions. And I find out that my workers have been pushing forward. So I figure I have to make a little bit of progress actually, you know, leveling people up. And I decide now is the time to start gathering the troops. Because I feel very little resistance from Casita at this point. And decide that that trap is not the right one. I wanted the slow trap there, and then comes the slow march. Now Casita does put up a little bit of resistance, but I think she sent a behemoth at me and it dies. At which point I take a portal, and I'm not sure she never took the other one. So that basically means once I take the portal that she is not going to get any new minions. And she does try to retake it, but she's mostly unsuccessful, I think. At which point I just assault her throne room. Now, she does have sentinels here, of course, but these are all level 1 sentinels, so not really much of a threat from my experienced force, and I basically just run over her. And down goes Casita. Alright, and then I sell off all the lairs, or at least the ones that I don't want any of the lairs to be away from my dungeon heart. Make sure that all my monsters are near enough in one place, because then it will take less time for them to be rallied. Finding little ones here and there, but I think I've now got them all. Yep. So just make one more extra layer here and help annexing with this, but my spirit workers are working as fast as they can, and now I start planning my assault on the last guy. Making some more ghosts. And my Eternal is happily helping out in the workshop. Alright, some minion management. I try to figure out if there's any unhappy people that I can make happy, but in the end I decided it's not really worth it, and I couldn't figure out how to pick them up or how to focus on them. That's still one thing in the game that I find a little bit annoying. I can never quite tell why they're unhappy. I can tell that they're unhappy, but the icon above their head usually doesn't show me in any real detail what's wrong. Kind of would like to see that in the tooltip, perhaps. Or would have liked it. I don't think the game will receive any much more other updates at this stage. With the release of the Under games, which I have not yet played. Right, so I'm just creating some extra passages. Got some extra ghosts, so time to start leveling up my guys. And here I'm just facing off against the defenses of the last guy. I keep forgetting his name. I think it's Draven. Anyway, the double-hearted guy. Alright, some Ember Demons. I'm making sure that none of my traps outside here are still in operation. Because I don't need them anymore, because Draven is never gonna go around me. He's always gonna go through me. Now, I think this is probably his weakest point. So I decided to just make sure that there's no way for him to get past me at this point, should my defenses fail. But ultimately, I'm not all that worried. Just keeping things going, checking on their health, seeing if my minions are still happy, and making sure that there's no doors left being placed. Alright, so yeah, I decided to send my Ember Demons out in suicide raids. That's basically what they're for anyway, since they keep getting resummoned. Healing up my beasts somewhat. Seeing if I can get the beasts, and I think I just noticed that the enemy is moving against me. So just checking out some constructs and what they do. There's no real need for that. Finishing off the last of the traps or the defenses I don't need. Alright, so now here I definitely noticed that they are attacking, so I think go time. Let's summon the troops, build the bridges, go. Now, the enemy minions are not likely to breach me at this stage unless I suddenly had an immediate loss of my minions, of my workers, who keep my walls repaired. And with the distraction of my assault, they probably wouldn't have time to do any of this. Alright, so just sell off that particular garrison, make sure that it won't refall into enemy hands and all that, and I just slowly push forward. Now this bottleneck has worried me a little bit, because I did try this before, and the bottleneck basically killed me for a bit. It didn't stop me, but it made sure I had to re-equip and all that, and I had some minions captured. Right, here comes the enemy Eternal. And he basically face plants against my army and my Eternal. And once it falls, that's basically the end. And there it goes. Now it's just a hard stomp. One heart down. And then I try to find a good path down, past the enemy defenses, unfortunately, which is a little bit painful. But luckily these defenses will not stop me. Because I'm trying to secure his gateways to make sure that he doesn't get any more minions, but I figure he doesn't have anything. If he had, he would have sent them at me. And whatever minions of his I get, I just try to capture, but at this pace, it's just too late. I can't recover them anymore, and it's over. So that's it for this episode. Thank you all for watching.
Now you are as a god. With these three bent to your will, your war against the Empire capital is sure to end in bloody victory.